Hi everyone, this is Ida with Created to Create. Good morning. I know I have been away. Um, I've been kind of busy for Easter, helping out with our church. And I've just been, taking a little break from scrapbooking. But I did want to support one of my fellow YouTubers, who is Miss Becky Long here on YouTube. And she is hosting or she's doing a 300 plus Subbie giveaway. And, she always joins different swaps and everything. So I just want to support her in this. So I decided to go ahead and make my card for her. And I don't know what else I'm going to add, but I am going to share the card with you that I did. And I'm going to link her video in the description box. What she wanted was a MEMORYDEX card. And of course, she would want some of your information, kind of get to know you better. And a lot of times we want to keep that information private and for the eyes only of the recipient. So I created a pocket out of a postage stamp die, because that way, I'm going to adhere the little airplane, because it's postage, it's airmail. So I'm going to adhere the little airplane to the tab up here. The reason I haven't done it is because I don't have my information there yet. But anyway, she'll be able to pull out the little airplane, and then my information will be on the card, and it tucks right back in there, and all you see is the airplane on top. So that is my train of thought in the MEMORYDEX card that I created. Let me move it up some. The way I created this, I actually have a stamp die. A postage stamp die, and it is a nesting die, so it has several pieces. Let me see. It does have several pieces. It's a 5-piece set, looks like. And I used the two biggest pieces are the ones that I used in my project. And like I said, they are nesting dies. So to make my main pocket, I use this big one. And I'm going to show you how I made the pocket for this. And I'm going to just move this out of the way and share that with you. Hopefully, we'll be able to get through a video without too much noise. So you're going to need a piece of paper that measures. I'm going to show you first how I got the measurement. That way, if you're using a different shape, you can do it. How I got the measurements for this, so I measured across how wide my die was, so it's less than 5 inches. So I kind of like to give myself some room, so I cut it at 5 inches wide, and then the width right here, the height on it is a little under 4 inches. So I just gave myself again some more room and said 4 inches. But because I want to make it into a pocket, this piece here, not the width of my card, but the height, the pocket, I have to double this number. So instead of 4, it's 8, because I'm going to fold it in half to create my pocket. So that's how you do that. That's how you get your measurements for that. So we need a piece that measures 8 inches by 5 inches. So out of a regular 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, you should be able to get enough for 2 MEMORYDEX cards, or at least the base for it, and have enough left over. So there's my 5-inch mark. I'm going to turn it around. This does measure 8.5, so I'm going to cut it at 8. I don't really have to, but I'm going to, and take that piece away, and I'm going to remove this. So all I did for my base is I folded my paper in half. You can score it down the middle at 4 inches. I just chose to just fold it over and burnish it with my bone folder. I'm just going to burnish it, so keep it nice and fold it down. Now, in order to cut this, I went ahead and got my die, and I placed my paper up on top of my die on the cutting edge, but right below, I'm going to show you the cutting edge on this. It's not this outside piece that you see right here. It's actually these little raised areas that you can see right in there. Those are the cutting lines. So I folded see, that's where my fold is. I folded it in half. I put it on top of here on my die, and I lined it up right below that cutting line. And I'm going to flip it to the back because I'm going to get a couple pieces of washi tape to hold it in place. So here's one, and I'm just going to tape it down. And I thought I had another piece up here, and I seem to have lost it. So I'm just going to use the one that I have up here. But when I flip it around, you're going to see that it's right below that cutting line. But 2 pieces of tape is better because that way it stays more secure and it doesn't move. Now I'm going to take this over to my other counter and I'm going to run it through my die cutting machine because there's not enough room here. But I'm showing you how I lined it up, and I'm going to go ahead and cut it. Give me 1 second. Hopefully it doesn't shift on me because I did not add another piece of tape to it, but I think it will be fine. Yeah, it looks pretty good. So when I take it off, there it is. All I did was run it through my machine. I'm going to take the little piece of tape off, and hopefully this worked. I got to take these little pieces off because those aren't supposed to be there. They're cut. They're just kind of stayed there. Let me see if I can open this. Yes. Now see how it's intact right down the middle? It didn't because I lined it up right under the cutting line. So here is the beginning of my pocket or my folder. Now, to close it up, I'm going to show you how I do that. I'm going to go ahead and measure from the bottom stitch line right here to the top stitch line, and that measures 3 inches. So I need 2 pieces of paper that measure 3 inches. They're going to be a 1 inch by 3. So I'm going to go ahead and line this up at the 1 inch and cut my piece because I think I can get the 2 out of this little strip. And then I'm going to line it up at the 3 inch mark and cut my second one at the 3 inch mark and cut again. So these are the 2 little pieces that I need. And now I'm going to score. Let me take my little bone folder from here. I'm going to score these little pieces at the 1/2 inch mark. And I'm just using my cutter because it's got the lines and I can line it up and see where the 1/2 inch mark is and hold it. And that's all I'm doing. Go ahead and score that. Now I can remove this out of the way. I don't think I need it anymore. And I'm going to fold these in half. When I say hinges, when I talk about hinges on my videos, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I call a hinge. So and I'm just going to burnish them, make sure they stay nice and closed. And the other thing I'm going to do, let me move this paper out of the way. I'm going to round the tops. So I'm just going to round it. And I'm going to do the same on both of them. But remember, you have a right and a left side. So I rounded those edges. So now I'm going to take my pocket, my little folder piece that I did, and I'm going to add glue. And I'm going to glue them in place. I like to use wet glue. You can use the double-sided tape. I normally don't. For almost everything that I use, I use glue. So I'm going to line it up right there, the stitching mark. That's my guide. That is my guide right there. And I'm going to do the same on the opposite side. Add some glue. And line it up at the stitch mark. And that's the beauty of this, that it does give you a guide because of the stitching on there. Because you don't want your hinge sticking out where these tabs are. Okay, so I'm going to glue these in place, but I am going to add a little bit of glue down here You know what I didn't do? I think I can still do it. So I'm going to add glue here and here. And just kind of fold these down. I'm not going to complete it yet, guys. I'm just going to fold those down. Because I like to punch the tabs. As soon as I cut this, before I even add hinges to this, I like to cut the tabs with this Heidi Swap. They just restocked the MEMORYDEX punch. So all I'm going to do, you have some lines right here to guide you. So I'm going to line up at the folded edge. I'm going to line up right here and hopefully be in line. And this will go through the 2 pieces of paper folded in half. As long as it's not too thick, you shouldn't have any trouble. So there it is. There are my tabs to insert it into the MEMORYDEX holder. Now, here are the tabs that we just added. And I'm going to add glue to this side up here so we can close it up. But before I do that, I want to add glue right here below the tabs because I want this to be very strong. I don't want it to tear, but I don't want to go above. Just right up to the top of those tabs. And then I'm going to add glue on my little side tabs on both sides and just close it up. And there will be my little pocket. There's my pocket for the my MEMORYDEX card. Close up my glue. Burnish it. There's my little pocket, guys, for my card. So when I put my information in the tab piece right here, this will slide right in. And the reason for the tab is, I'm going to tell you what the reason for the tab is that I don't want this to show above the scallop cut from the die. I don't want it to show. So that's why I did use my envelope punch board to do the tab. That way it hides, and the only thing showing is the little tab, but the tab is going to be covered by the airplane that's going to be on there. So you're not going to see any of it, but when someone needs to get the information, you just pull it out and there is all the information. You hear the puppies fighting already? But that's how I created the pocket. And then if you want to cover up the, let's say I wanted to cover this up, I will cut another piece, the same, exactly the same, and with the same die, the big die, I would take this again, I would line it up in the center, and then I would punch. So just go ahead and take another piece, die cut with the same die, and go ahead and line it up and punch it. And now, the reason that I'm doing this, I'm going to tell you why I'm doing this, because I still want the edges of my, I'm not using the white pocket. It's that I had already recorded and there was too much noise. This is the one I'm using, but I want to put this on top of it. Hold on 1 second, guys. Abby. Yeah. I'm recording. And I want to put this on top of this, but I want you to be able to see the pink along the edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take my scissors and I'm going to cut along the perimeter where that stitching is, but I needed these tabs right here to line up here. So that's all we're going to do. We're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut right along that that stitch line. The kids go to school and we figure, oh, it'll be nice and quiet, and then we got the puppies that are fighting like little kids. And along this side, and you can use any die that you have, really, whether it be a purse die, whether it be a circle die, I don't care what shape it is. As long as you can slide it into your punch board and get those holes where you want them, you can use just about anything. So I'm cutting all this right along the stitch line. Here I am to the end of it. And that gives you a really good guide to follow. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere this on top, but see how the tabs line up? Because I cut it while I still had all the edge. I was able to line up perfectly with the way I had done the bottom. So that means that the top piece is going to line up perfectly. So I'm going to go ahead and add glue to this, if I can find my glue bottle. I keep hitting myself with the umbrella. My son told me to use the umbrella on my lights, guys, because he says that helps it focus. So, oh, come on. There it goes. So I'm going to add wet glue all the way around the perimeter. This is just my base. I'm not really going to do anything to this. I just kind of want to break up all that pink is what I want to do. And I'm going to line it up perfectly because I have the stitch line that kind of guides me. And there it is. There is the first layer of my MEMORYDEX card. Now, if I wanted to do the back like this, I would do the same thing. I would use the big die, cut out my designer paper, go punch the holes, line it up and punch the holes, and then I would trim it around the stitching, and then I would adhere it the way we did here. So here it is, this layer. For my next layer, I used the next size down, and I cut it out of this blue paper right here because it coordinates so well, and I love the color blue. So this one is going to go up here, but I am going to put dimension in between, but you can still see some of the flowers peeking out, some of the pink peeking out, so I like that. But before I do that, there's one thing I do want to do, and I don't think that I brought it with me, so I'm just going to tell you what I did. I did emboss my piece because you guys know that I love embossing folders. So what I did was I took my stamp that I wanted to add here. You know what? I did bring it. Yay! I'll show you the stamp set that I used. I used this stamp set that I picked up on Amazon a while back, and this is one of my favorites. And because I love Postage, where is it? Okay. I love Postage, so I picked that up, and I'm going to use Stays On, and I'm going to use this little, the little 6 cent with the airplane because it's airmail. Let me ink it up. And I'm going to just put it right here in the corner. And I don't even care if it's a little off. I don't care if, you know, it's sticking up and cutting half of it. It really doesn't matter to me. So there's that. And then I'm going to take the one that has the lines going through it. And I'm going to ink that up. I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to stamp this right on top of that. There. That's all I wanted to do. And I'm going to show you this stamp set open. And it does come with its ink pad, but I usually like to use Stays On. Here it is open. There's all the stamps that come in there, and here's the ink pad. But that's what it looks like. And I absolutely love this. And I'm not going to leave any links, guys, because I don't really get sponsored for none of this stuff. You know, everything that I purchase on my own. So that's why I'm not leaving any links. And then I'm going to add this on dimension. But before I do that, I'm going to take my embossing folders. As you guys know, I love, love, love embossing folders. And I always use them. So this is the embossing folder by Doris that I'm using. It has the Eiffel Tower. It has the 2 little chairs with the teacups or coffee cups, whatever they happen to be. And it's got some like scroll work down here. And I'm going to just position my, my paper where I want it. And I want it to be right where the chairs are. I want the whole thing of the chairs. Even if I only get a little piece of the Eiffel Tower, I'm okay with that. And I'm going to run this through my machine, and I'll be right back. That way I can show you what it looks like. You can wet this, mist it a little bit. See right there, there you have, I have the squirrel work at the bottom. I have the chairs. I have the Eiffel Tower here in the corner. And I love the way that looks. Now, I want to give the chairs some color. So I want to add some gold to them. And my friend Sabrina, who is the S Factor Studio, she gifted me some of these for my birthday. So I'm using the Cosmic Brown is what it's called. But for me, it looks like gold, a gold color. And I'm just simply using a makeup brush. You know those little disposable makeup brushes. I'm going to use one of these to add, because this is so, like it's tapered, you can actually have control over where you put your embossing. See how the chair just comes to life? And I'm just putting this on the metal. You kind of have to be careful because you can get on the outside. And I'm going to try not to, but, you know, sometimes it just can't be helped. And so I'm just going to, because I want to define that chair and I want to define the legs on it. And that's how I do that. I don't put too much on there. See how it sometimes gets in the middle. I don't care for that too much, but it does happen. So I added it there. If you have something that's a little bit more pointier, of course, then you would have more control. But this is what I have, so this is what I'm working with. You know, and I just want to bring out those little details a little bit where it stands out. One of the legs, and let's get that little table as well. I want to bring out the legs on the table, and I want to bring out those two coffee cups that are on the, or teacups that are on the table. For me, it can be either or because I love both coffee and tea. Okay, so there is that. Now, if I wanted this bottom piece, these to have also color to bring that out, of course, I would run the gold throughout the, you know, at the bottom of the, where this raised area is. And that just kind of brings it out. If I wanted it a different color, then I could do that. But I think I'm just going to go with the gold. Because I don't have like a dark gray to make it look like metal work, like iron work. So I'm just going to use that. Now, that's all for the gold. Now, I want to add some pink to the seats, to the cushions of the chairs. Or you could add any color that you have. I have this pink that my friend Sabrina, y'all know who Sabrina is, the S Factor Studio here on YouTube. She gifted me this, this shimmer. And I'm going to, I already have one that has pink. Here's the one that has pink, but I'm going to use the finer tip, and I'm going to add pink to the cushions of the seat. There we go. And of course, if I was using a darker pink, then it would be darker, but this is just like a light color. There it is. See how much the finer the sponge, the more control you have over it. But there are my chairs already decked out in pink and in gold. So all I'm going to do to this, all I did to mine after I had added the coloring here, I did add some black soot onto the Eiffel Tower to make it look like metal, and then I did add some kind of that cosmic shimmer that I've been playing with, but I'm not too sure if I like that on this project. And then I got a little messy right here, so I don't like that either. So that's going to be something else. I don't know what I'll do with it. And then I added the glossy accents to the stamp right here. That's the only thing that I did to it. It is on dimensions. And this is really all I wanted to share with you guys. Once I put it on some foam tape, it'll stand out. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece of foam with my die, because the dies can go through foam. So it will be up on dimension. And then for the back part, let me show you the back. On the back, I just added, cut another little piece, the same. I cut the stamp the same, the way we did for the front piece. I punched the holes in it for the MEMORYDEX to line up, and then I trimmed around the stitch line. And then after I did that, I passed this through my embossing folder, and I'll share with you. That's this one right here by Sizzix. It's a postcard embossing folder. That's the one I used. And then I used a stamp that says, all I need is a little bit of coffee and a whole lot of Jesus, because I think that this really does tell you about me or something about me. And then right here, I'll probably just add my seal, just so she doesn't have to pull out all the information to see who it's from. She'll be able to read my seal in the back and say, okay, this is what I'm if she were looking for me, this is who I'm looking for, without having to pull out the information. But this is what I wanted to share with you guys. I hope that you try to create something like this with any other type of shape that you might have. And I think it turned out wonderful, and I hope that you try it, and I hope that you like it. And I want to wish everyone a great day. I hope everyone has a blessed day. Bye.